Books have formed my spiritual journey. They were like gurus that came at the right time to guide me in the right direction. Whenever I had a question, somehow, from somewhere, a book appeared. The first book that started my spiritual inquiry was a book that was written by Osho on the Vigyan Bhairav Tantra. 112 techniques of meditation taught by Shiva to Parvati. Now, one simple technique that you can try from this book is the science of breath. Now, in yoga, we have realized that the mind, body, and the breath are interconnected. So, if you want to change the quality of your mind, all you have to do is you have to work with your breath. So, when you inhale, pause and see where does the breath turn inside you. Before you exhale, you should be focused on observing what happens to the breath. So inhalation, how it changes into an exhalation. And this will take you into a deep silence. Another book that was revolutionary for me was by Louis L. Hay, Heal Your Life. Now, what that did was it opened up a whole new dimension where I realized that the mind or the thoughts that we have throughout the day, the thoughts that we think are shaping my reality. It was groundbreaking. But I was so happy to read this and to know this that when I experimented with this, I actually realized that when I changed the thoughts that were going on in my head, my outer reality started changing. Now, most of the problems that we have in our life are arising from deep subconscious beliefs that we carry. If we think that people are wrong, people are bad, the world is a bad place to live in, suddenly such events will start happening around me that don't give me a good result. So how you can experiment with this is really think about or observe what kind of thoughts do you have all day about something that is going wrong in your life. And try changing the thought to a positive thought and see if the situation around turns around in your life. A few years later, another book came into my life, a gift by someone again. Pilgrim of the Heart by Krishna Das. This is how Neem Karoli Baba entered my life. Totally, I was never a religious person. I didn't know what devotion felt like. But when I read this book, something amazing took place. I wanted to experience what Krishna Das experienced with his guru. That feeling of devotion, love, the mystical experiences that Krishna Das talks about, Neem Karoli Baba, were mind-boggling. I couldn't believe that this was real. And this took me into a whole new world of what eventually turned out to be Kriya Yoga Sadhana. Another book that really, it was the most exciting book I think I've read till now. Magic. Where did my belief in magic come from? Is this book called Synchro Destiny by Deepak Chopra. So beautifully explains the phenomena of cosmic intelligence. How does a little cell know in your body? How does a cell know that it has to become a heart cell or a liver cell or a lung cell? Who is instructing this entire mechanism of the little zygote becoming a baby? Who is instructing the birds that fly in the sky whether they should turn left or right? So there is intelligence which is in nature very evident at play. And Deepak Chopra talks about the same intelligence, if we become aware, can guide our entire life. We are a part of this cosmic intelligence. So Synchro Destiny talks about how we can align our inner or outer journey and through coincidences. He also tells you that there is no such thing as a coincidence. Everything is happening through this higher intelligence for a reason. A phenomenal book that really depicts the Shiva consciousness, or what the Zen Buddhists follow, is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. So simply, such a simple human being has the great experience of a unified consciousness. The present moment is a gift. And he said that whenever the mind goes into the past or the future, it creates anxiety. It creates an unrest in the system. Worry comes in. So rooting yourself in the now can be one of the biggest spiritual lessons that a seeker can learn. How can you practice this? Well, really notice whenever you're worried, angry, upset, too happy, you're probably either thinking about events that have happened or worrying about something or fearing something that's going to happen. Come back to the present moment. And the best thing that happens is the entire chaos of the mind calms down. Another phenomenal book that has been a guiding light in my life. Whenever sticky situations came, this book often helped me get answers as to what kind of action should I take. What is the right action to take? Should I be passive, like most books expect us to be, or should I take active action in the world? Should I take a stand for the right or wrong, or should I just wait and watch and let things go by? So Bhagavad Gita is great for karma yogis. Krishna says that dharma is the final goal of human life, to uphold dharma at all times. And whenever a being does that, remains dharmic, your life will be okay. Even if it's the most uncomfortable thing to do in that moment. But do the right thing at that moment that arises out of a pure consciousness. So there are two versions of this Bhagavad Gita. One is the Prabhupada version, Swami Prabhupada. And one is the Paramahansa Yogananda. Both are the same. Paramahansa just describes it from a yogic perspective, Kriya Yogi, and Paramahansa describes it from a Bhakti Yoga perspective. Whichever version you like, both will lead you to the same understanding. When nothing worked in my life, nothing, when you're tired of taking action, when you've done the right thing, and you've probably got the results, when your manifestations have worked, but still life feels confusing, empty, and especially if you're alone. For people who live in a lot of solitude, this book will really help you. It's the Tao Te Ching by, supposedly, nobody knows the real author, but they say it's Lao Tzu. What is this book about? This book is about being in the eternal embrace of nature. Whatever is happening, let it happen. Don't worry if something good happens, and don't get too happy if something bad happens. Good and bad is just a perspective. What might feel good today, you might manifest something that you think is good today, but it could lead to a lot of problems in your life. Right? It's the same. You think this person is great, you want to marry them, but then once you marry them, you get to know a side to them that you never knew. It could become bad. Or something that you thought could be bad for you. Let's say you get into a trouble situation and you think, oh my God, what has God done to me? And that might turn out to be something great for you. Something great might happen because of that bad thing that happened. So Lao Tzu says, don't get too attached to good and bad outcomes. Just be dispassionate and just watch all life just unfold. And you'll see good turns to bad, bad turns to good. The police exists because there are thieves. If the thief didn't exist, the police would not exist. So he says good and bad are like the yin and yang. black and white always exist together. Esther and Jerry Hicks wrote this book called Ask and It Is Given. If I tell you, if anybody wants to manifest and wants to understand how manifesting works, this should become your Bible. They explore a variety of techniques that can be done to manifest the things that you want. How have I used this? Well, I've used it in many cases. Let's say when I wanted a certain thing in my life to happen. They talk about visualizing. Visualize what you want and it'll happen. They talk about affirmations, positive statements. And I have used them, and oh my God, the results that you get from these practices, it is tried and tested. I love the way Esther explains in such a funny, life-hearted way the most complex practices on the spiritual path. Again, the most recent life-changing book that I read was the Saundarya Lehi by Adi Shankaracharya. I've always had a feeling about the Sri Vidya practice that I do, but I never knew such a phenomenal literary text exists around this practice till I read this book. How the nuclear energy of every atom is depicted in such beautiful poetic way that I don't know if I've read anything more powerful than this in my life. So anybody who wants to really understand Shri or the feminine energy force, the Shakti principle, and harness that in your life, you must read Saundarya Lehi. Finally, for those who really want money, the Bible for manifesting money is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. If money is a concern for you, it's a lengthy read, right? It's a thick book. The principles of money manifestation course, some of them also come from here. That, especially what you can try is writing the amount of money that you want, the date by which you want it in a present tense statement. So I have this much money in my account by this date. And you sleep. Before you sleep, you read the statement. When you wake up, you read the statement. You carry the statement with you at all times. Does it work? Yes, I've tried it and it works. You can really attract opportunities for making that kind of money by just following the things that he talks about in this book. Brainwash your subconscious mind to believe that you can have it, and you'll have it.